Hello there. I was looking for a manual hand mower to cut grass for community centers and all that, which is not easily accessible to power. So I came across this AHM38G, and it is really a cordless, well, you don't need electric for it, high quality, 15 to 50 mm adjustable cutting range, and it's lightweight at 7.7 kilos with a huge 26-liter basket for the grass, and also the width of 38 centimeters. So I guess that's why it's called AHM38, because 38 is the width of the grass that it can cut, right? And from the look of it, the box outside is just repetitively talking about the features. So let's open it up and let's see what's inside. Well, the most glaring thing when you open up the box is actually the grass box. But before removing that, I need to remove this lower handle section. Well, if you look at the manual, this is labeled as part number 3, which is the lower handlebar. And now you can look at the grass box, which is 26 liters and is wide enough to capture all the grass. And what you see inside is, of course, the mower itself with the rest of the parts. You have the upper handlebars and also the handle centers. And you can see the manual, which is very important, will show you all the sections and the very simple DIY for you to install all of it, right? And there's also some safety notes and how do you hook up the grass box, and also how do you actually tune the grass cutter itself, which I will show you in detail. There's one part in the manual which I really like. It's talking about the accessory, the grass box, which comes with another attachment, which I'm going to show you later on as well. Okay, this is what you will see if you lay out everything from within the box. The grass box itself, again, we will put it aside because this will be the last item to go on to our assembly. Okay, this is the whole mower itself, right? And I like the wheels and the whole build is steady. And this is the knob for you to tune the spindle and the cutter. And this particular one is for you to adjust the height. So by turning it around, you can adjust the height, which we'll go through in details later. So this is part number 3. This is the lower handlebar, which we will just install it shortly without using any additional tools. So to put it on is actually very simple. This is actually the upper handlebar, and this is the part where you hold it, and we will go through which direction is the right one later on. And this part is called the handlebar centers. I'm not sure why it's called that way. It's labeled as part number 2 in the manual. And of course, the whole box of tools, sorry, a whole bag of tools, comes with a wrench and then 2 brackets for the grass box as well. Alright, to the hand mower itself. Now let's look at some of the components here. Well, the label and the logo, that's the front, and here you got the cutter, which is very sharp, so be careful. And then the adjustment for the cutter, you can see there's 2 little knobs on top. If you turn it counterclockwise, like what I'm doing right now, and then it will make it loosen and you can spin it easily. And if you turn it clockwise, you will tighten it then, right? So both of it has to be turned simultaneously, or adjust both of them to get optimal results. And the bottom knob is for you to adjust the height. So this will determine how short you want to cut the grass, okay? So of course, we're going to tune that later on as well. Currently, I'll just leave it as high and lock it. And before we go to our installation, a good safety tip will be, okay, you can see now if I turn it all the way to the left, you can spin the cutter. I would like to lock it up, so which means I turn it all the way to the right so that the cutter doesn't move around and you get less chances of hurting yourself, right? So with this locked up, now it's time for us to install. Let's take the lower handlebar, and you can see there's 2 large holes here. Okay, it is very simple because this large hole, you just need to slide it here into the attachment on the hand mower, and that's it. Okay, it is purposely designed for you to be able to move it front and to the back, for you to store it and the ease of using it. And if you want to take it out, okay, you can just slide it off like that and remove it, okay? So since we're going to install it, let me reverse it back. But you see, I'm very careful because of the blade is there. And after that, the rest of the steps are very easy. So these are the handlebar centers, which will be attached this way, okay? This is where we need all the screws and nuts, right? I love it that the nuts are all attached to the screws, but at the same time, I have to remove the nut before I can slide them in to fasten them. Okay, so you can see that the center bars here, there's these square holes because the screw, whenever it goes inside, the square holes hold them in place. So that is very easy for you to attach the nuts later on. Alright, so this is one piece in, slide it into place. Okay, let's put two pieces of the screw, now attach the nuts. I fast forward it because it's a long, slow process. To tighten it, of course, you can just use the wrench that came in the back, and then you can tighten it this way. Okay, so I'm going to show you the installation of both of it, and then I'm going to show you a little tip on how to get it aligned. Alright, so yep, let's tighten both of it. Then of course, this is optional. This is my trusty old Bosch tool. It has 46 different attachments to it, and one of it that I like is because it has this hex nut wrench as well. And of course, the handle of the screwdriver is multi-directional, so I don't need to twist my wrist so much, right? So with a size 10 hex wrench, and I can complete the job, right? So what I want to show you here is after you completed it and you tighten it, right, you'll realize that the handlebars might not be aligned or straight. So first of all, I thought these handle centers are directional. So what I tried was, of course, to flip these two around because I thought that might be I got the direction wrong. But then again, as these two pieces are actually identical, and by swapping them around will not make any difference as well, right? So actually, the problem here is not about the direction. So what we're going to do right now is whenever we install these two parts, just put on the nut and the screw and leave them loosely like this, because after we install the handle, which goes into it like this, then we can tighten everything and square them off. Now the magic question is which part is actually the front, right? Is the handle facing downwards like that or upwards? The answer is facing upwards because of the center of gravity and also ergonomic whenever you hold it. Okay, so this one's very simple, just two screws and nuts. And after you put them in, of course, remember to tighten all the 6 nuts that we just installed. So after doing that, right, starting with the top handlebar and then to the bottom handle, and we are then done. And it's sturdy and square. All right. So of course, the last part of it is these 2 brackets. These are the brackets for the grass box. And to install it, you can see outer layer here, there's one protruding nipple. Okay, let me get this knob away. What you do is, okay, you just press this particular plate in. Okay, the bigger hole is the one that goes into the protruding nipple, and put in the screws, and then after that you can attach the nut. All right, the nut will be locked into place because there's a hole there, the shape of a hexagonal nut. I will show it on the other side. You will see clearer when I install the other bracket. Okay, so of course you can just tighten it using the wrench that's provided. Okay, this is the other side, right? After I press it in, okay, and then you see I slide in the screw from the outer layer. Okay, I have to remove the nut first, right? Okay, from the outer layer in, now the nut can go into this hexagonal hole and it will be held in place for us to tighten the screw from the outside. Okay, there. So you see, it goes into the hole and then we can tighten it. And with that, we have installed the bracket. Now let's bring on the grass box. Okay, so that's a hole there. So you just need to align it and put it inside the bracket, and there you go. So if you adjust the height of the grass cutter, right, the box will actually follow the height as well because the pivotal point is the same. That means that your grass will be always collected properly. And then we are done with the assembly. So the next point is, of course, to tune it. Now listen to it carefully. Okay, this is the sound that we want to have. So what happens if I turn it counterclockwise? Now you don't hear the sound anymore, right? Because it's spinning freely. Now this is not good because the shear works like a scissors. So you wanted it to have some sort of contact to the bottom part, the green part of the mower, so that it can shear through the grass properly. So so we keep on tuning it, but if we are doing it too tightly, so this is what happens. It's not spinning anymore, right? So that is not good because it will then damage both the blade and also the bottom part of the mower. And if you tighten it further, you can't move at all, right? So this is the concept, right? This is a scissors. And end of the day, these spinning blades are just like the scissors spinning against the green bottom part, right? So what we want to do is at least when you move the mower, let it freely able to spin like 1-2 rounds. Then we know that, at least the spinning blades are in contact with the bottom green part and it is slicing through the grass properly. All right. So we'll take a few times to test it out and make sure that you always tune the left and the right at the same time so that we get to the right point. Okay, there's this a piece of paper inside that warns you against the blade. Don't put your fingers into the blade. But this is what we're going to do because we're going to test how sharp it is and also how effective is our calibration. And from the look of it, yes, let's look at it in slow motion. Yep, it is cutting through the paper, very sharp and clean cut, just like how we wanted our grass cutter to function. Okay, so with that, you can see all these bits and pieces, they're all sharp and straight and on point, which means we have calibrated the mower properly. All right, so the last part of it is, of course, I'm going to show you how to keep it. Well, the mower itself can just stand freely, so you can just easily put it into any corners. What I like is also this handlebar can be used as a hook, so I can just hold it up and then hook it up, right? But of course, you don't want to leave it outside like this because rain and sun will spoil it and might rust some of the parts. But the good thing is it is so light, 7.7 kilo. Without the basket, it's only 7.5 kilos. I can just bring it away. And if you like to keep it neatly, just remove the handlebars like this, careful with your fingers, and put it into the original box. Okay, the grass box can put it inside as well, and you can store this away. Okay, then of course the handlebar, you don't need to remove it. It's going to be a nuisance, so you can just hang it somewhere else or use it as a weapon or something like that, up to you, right? Now talking about the grass box, okay, this is the original grass box that came with it. However, you can actually upgrade or buy replacement grass box and it comes in a pack like this, okay? So what's nice about this grass box is, one, the design is actually slightly different. So you know which one is aftermarket, from Bosch originally. And there's of course this manual, which originally I thought is not needed, but then I got wrong. And you can see that the design is different and it can catch grass better, especially those small carpet grass, right? And those for the golf grass kind of thing. It can catch inside, doesn't come out easily. And of course, there's a label there. And I thought that was the only difference. And then I start to realize that, oh, it is actually slightly bigger, okay? And it is also confirmed by putting it side by side. You can see that the one on the right, which is the aftermarket one, is slightly bigger. And that's why the manual also indicates that it came with brackets and screws for you to install new mounts to cater for the bigger basket. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed this video. The next video, I'm going to show you some of my grass cutting activities. But before that, you can also view my other videos in this channel. Thank you and see you next time.